And he hits this one high and deep to left. Back goes Darren Bragg to the warning track. It's gone.
Cal Ripken Jr. redefined what it meant to be reliable. He was the ultimate professional and an unbreakable force. But how good was he actually? Ripken's childhood was unlike most kids growing up in America. Born Calvin Edwin Ripken Jr. in Havre de Grace, Maryland in 1960, baseball wasn't just a game in his house, it was the family business. His father, Cal Ripken Sr., was a career minor league player turned coach and manager in the Baltimore Orioles organization. Young Cal didn't just grow up around baseball, he lived it, breathed it, studied it like a textbook. While other kids were watching cartoons on Saturday mornings, Cal was at the ballpark with his dad, shagging fly balls and watching professionals work. He learned the game from the ground up, not from a TV screen or baseball cards, but from sitting in the dugouts and listening to his father work with professional players. By the time he was a teenager, Cal probably knew more about baseball than most college coaches. The Ripken household was structured and disciplined. Cal Sr. believed in doing things the right way, every single time. Show up early, work hard, respect the game, and never make excuses. These weren't just words. They were the code that young Cal lived by. His father never pushed him into baseball, but once Cal chose it, he was expected to give it everything he had. By the time Cal was in high school, scouts were already circling. He was a two-sport star in baseball and soccer. But baseball was always the dream. In 1978, the Baltimore Orioles drafted him in the second round. It was fitting. The hometown kid joining the organization his father had dedicated his life to. Cal was 17 years old and about to begin a journey that would redefine durability in professional sports. After signing with Baltimore, Ripken spent 3 years in the minor leagues refining his craft. He wasn't an overnight sensation. He struggled through errors and strikeouts. But quitting wasn't in his DNA. His father had taught him that talent gets you noticed, but work ethic is what makes you great. Ripken played shortstop in the minors, but there were doubts. At 6'4" and over 200 pounds, scouts questioned whether he had the range and agility to play the position at the major league level. Most big guys played first base or the outfield, but Ripken was determined to prove him wrong. He worked obsessively on his footwork, his positioning, his throws. If he wasn't fast enough, he'd be smart. If he wasn't quick, he'd be in the right place before the ball was even hit. In 1981, Ripken got his first taste of the majors, playing just 23 games at the end of the season. The next year, 1982, was his breakout. Manager Earl Weaver moved him to shortstop full-time on July 1st, and Ripken never looked back. He hit 28 home runs, drove in 93 runs, and won the American League Rookie of the Year award. Not bad for a guy who was supposedly too big to play shortstop. On May 30th, 1982, Cal Ripken Jr. started in a game against the Toronto Blue Jays. It was just another game, another day at the ballpark. Nobody knew it at the time, but Ripken wouldn't miss a single game for the next 16 years. At first, nobody paid attention to the streak. Playing every day was what ball players did back then. But as months turned into years and years turned into a decade, people started to realize something extraordinary was happening. Ripken wasn't just showing up. He was performing at an elite level while never taking a day off. In 1983, his first full season as the regular shortstop, Ripken won the American League MVP award. He hit .318 with 27 home runs and 102 RBIs while playing Gold Glove caliber defense. More importantly, he led the Orioles to a World Series championship, batting .400 in the series against Philadelphia. The kid who grew up in the organization was now its cornerstone. Ripken wasn't flashy. He didn't showboat or seek attention. He just showed up every single day, put on a uniform, and went to work. Rain or shine, day games after night games, doubleheaders in August heat. Ripken played. His teammates could count on him like clockwork. Opponents respected him. Fans adored his work ethic. From 1982 to 1998, Ripken played in 2,632 consecutive games. To put that in perspective, that's over 16 straight years without missing a single game. No rest days, no phantom injuries, no load management. He played through colds, through minor injuries, through slumps, through personal struggles. He simply refused to let his team down. Critics said the streak was selfish, that Ripken was putting personal glory ahead of the team. They said a day off here and there would help him and give younger players opportunities, but they missed the point entirely. Ripken wasn't chasing a record. He was honoring the game. His father had taught him that if you could play, you played. Period. In 1991, Ripken had the season of his career. At age 30, he hit .323 with 34 home runs and 114 RBIs while playing every inning of every game as shortstop. He won his second MVP award, joining an elite group of two-time winners. The crazy part? This was his 10th straight year of playing 162 games. Most players rest at least a few games per season. Ripken was redefining what the human body could endure. Each milestone was celebrated, but Ripken remained humble. He deflected credit, thanked his trainers, and insisted he was just doing his job. But everyone knew this was something special, something that would never happen again in baseball. September 6, 1995 was the date circled on every baseball fan's calendar. Game 2131. Cal Ripken Jr. was about to break Lou Gehrig's consecutive games record, a mark that had stood for 56 years and was once considered unbreakable. If Ruth's home run records defined one era and DiMaggio's hitting streak defined another, Gehrig's Iron Horse streak was the ultimate symbol of durability and dedication. The game was against the Angels at Camden Yards in Baltimore. The entire baseball world was watching. Presidents, Hall of Famers, celebrities, everyone wanted to witness history. But would Ripken actually break it? Some wondered if he might sit out to avoid the pressure and attention. But of course, he played. When the game became official in the fifth inning, the record was his. The scoreboard changed to 2-1-3-1, and Camden Yards erupted. Fans stood and cheered for 22 minutes straight. Ripken's teammates pushed him out of the dugout for a lap around the field. He jogged around the warning track, high-fiving fans, his eyes wet with emotion. It wasn't just Baltimore celebrating, it was the entire country. After a bitter player strike had canceled the 1994 World Series and left fans disillusioned with baseball, Ripken reminded everyone what the game was supposed to be about: hard work, dedication, showing up even when it's hard. He saved baseball's image at a time when the sport desperately needed a hero. That night, Ripken also went 2 for 4 with a home run. The man didn't know how to have an off night, even with the weight of history on his shoulders. Ripken didn't just show up for 2,632 straight games. He excelled. His career numbers put him among the greatest shortstops in baseball history. 431 home runs, more than any shortstop until Alex Rodriguez came along. 3,184 hits, good for 16th all-time. 1,695 RBIs, 19 All-Star selections, including the 2001 game where fans voted him into the starting lineup in what would be his final All-Star appearance. But here's what separates Ripken from other great players: his defensive revolution. When he arrived, shortstops were expected to be small, quick, slap-hitting guys who could field their position. Ripken, reminding fans of the days of Honus Wagner, proved once again that a big, powerful player could not only survive at shortstop, but thrive there. He won 2 Gold Gloves and set records for fewest errors in a season by a shortstop. His 1990 season was defensive perfection. He played 161 games at shortstop and committed just 3 errors all year, setting an all-time record for fielding percentage, .996. Think about that. Over 160 games, he only made 3 mistakes. Most shortstops make 3 errors in a week. Ripken's 1991 MVP season remains one of the greatest years any shortstop has ever had. 34 homers, .323 average, 114 RBIs, elite defense, and he played every single inning. That's 1,442 consecutive innings without a break. By comparison, today's stars regularly sit out games for rest or maintenance days. Ripken's maintenance day was showing up at the ballpark and grinding through 9 innings. Let's be honest, Ripken's consecutive game streak will probably never be broken. Never. In today's game, with analytics departments managing player workloads and teams resting stars for playoff pushes, no one will ever come close to 2,632 straight games. The current active leader, it's not even worth mentioning because it's barely a quarter of Ripken's total. Think about what had to happen for that streak to exist. Ripken had to stay healthy for 16 years. No torn ACLs, no broken bones, no serious illnesses. He had to convince every manager he played for that he should be in the lineup every single day. He had to maintain elite performance so his playing time was justified, and he had to want it. Had to have the mental toughness to show up day after day, year after year, without ever giving in to fatigue or doubt. Gehrig's record stood for 56 years before Ripken broke it. Ripken's record? It's been nearly 30 years since he set it, and nobody is even remotely close. The second longest streak since 1982 is Miguel Tejada's 1,152 games, less than half of Ripken's total. That tells you everything you need to know about how impossible this record is. But Ripken's legacy isn't just about consecutive games. He's the reason tall, powerful players can dream of playing shortstop. He's the template for how modern shortstops approach the position, combining power, defense, and durability. Without Ripken, you don't get Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, or Corey Seager succeeding at the position. In 1998, Ripken finally ended the streak on his own terms. On September 20th, before a game against the Yankees, he asked manager Ray Miller to take him out of the lineup. After 2,632 straight games, it was time. The streak had become bigger than him, and he wanted to return to being just a player, not the Iron Man. He played 3 more seasons after ending the streak, retiring after the 2001 season. His final All-Star game was pure magic. At age 40, he hit a home run in his final Midsummer Classic. It was a storybook ending to a legendary career.
The man of 1,000 stances leads off, rips one, goodbye!
When he played his final game on October 6, 2001, Camden Yards gave him a 12-minute standing ovation. In 2007, Ripken was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility with a 98.5% vote. The 1.5% who didn't vote for him? They probably just forgot to fill out their ballots because there was no logical argument against his induction. More importantly, Ripken showed that being great doesn't require ego or flash. He was never the loudest voice in the clubhouse or the biggest personality in the sport. He just worked harder than everyone else and let his actions speak for themselves. Today, when a player shows exceptional reliability or plays through minor injuries to help their team, commentators still invoke Ripken's name because even 20 years after his retirement, the Iron Man remains the gold standard for durability and professionalism. He was the Iron Man, the franchise cornerstone, the ultimate professional. But most of all, he was the man who showed America that sometimes the greatest achievement is just showing up every single day without excuses. Thanks for watching. Do you think Ripken's streak will ever be broken? Comment to tell us what you think and let us know who you want to hear about next. Subscribe for more legendary baseball stories every week. This is Inside Baseball, where we bring you the best of the game.